Look at a glass of water. Nothing about it seems especially dangerous. Now imagine enough water to cover you. No pool, no ladder, no lifeguard, just a deep prehistoric river. And nobody has ever taught you swimming. Food is waiting on the opposite bank. A predator is closing in behind you. You step forward and the bottom disappears. For the first time, your feet float. Your body drops and panic takes over. Your arms begin pushing at the water. Your legs kick without any instruction. Somehow your face reaches the surface. You breathe and something has changed. Water is no longer instantly unbeatable. But who was the first swimmer? We will almost certainly never know. Swimming leaves no stone tool behind. No stroke survives buried in the ground. Once water becomes still, evidence vanishes. So archaeology has a difficult problem. We must reconstruct behavior without the behavior. The clues come from art and geography. They also come from human migration. Ancient humans constantly lived beside water. Rivers supplied drinking water and animals. Lakes offered fish, plants, and birds. Coasts provided shellfish and rich food. But every shoreline created the same danger. Eventually, somebody had to enter deeper water. Perhaps a hunter followed wounded prey. Perhaps a child wandered too far. Perhaps a flood cut off a family. Maybe somebody simply slipped from a bank. Whatever happened, survival demanded movement. Humans are not natural aquatic specialists. We have no flippers or tails. We cannot breathe beneath the surface. Compared with dolphins, we are terrible swimmers. But humans have one enormous advantage. We can experiment, remember, and copy. A frightened push can become a technique. A lucky kick can be repeated. A floating posture can be demonstrated. One successful person can teach everyone. That is where instinct becomes culture. Imagine children playing in shallow water. They discover that bodies can partly float. They learn that holding breath changes everything. They stretch their arms and stop sinking. They kick and suddenly move forward. Nobody calls this a swimming lesson. They are simply learning what works. Generation after generation, skill becomes normal, and water starts becoming less frightening. Now the story becomes much bigger. Because rivers were barriers to migration, a deep channel could stop an entire group unless humans learned how to cross it. Swimming alone was not enough for oceans, but water confidence encouraged bigger experiments. Rafts and primitive boats changed the equation. Then falling overboard became a new danger. If your raft overturned, technology disappeared. Your body became your final survival tool. This matters when we look at Sahul. Ancient Sahul joined Australia and New Guinea. Humans reached it tens of thousands ago. That journey still required open water crossings. Researchers argue those voyages were deliberately planned. These were not accidental drifting castaways. They were people willing to navigate water. They built, launched, and controlled watercraft. And they repeatedly survived marine environments. We cannot prove those voyagers all swam, but water competence would have been valuable, especially when boats were fragile and primitive. Now look thousands of years later. In Egypt's western desert lies Wadi Sura. There is the famous Cave of Swimmers. Its walls show strange human figures. They appear stretched horizontally through space. Arms and legs resemble swimming movements. The paintings are thousands of years old. Today, the surrounding landscape is dry desert. But ancient Sahara was once much wetter. Lakes and grasslands existed across the region. People lived where water once existed. Are those figures definitely people swimming? Archaeologists still debate their exact meaning, but the images preserve an ancient possibility. Humans imagined bodies moving like swimmers. Then written civilizations make things clearer. Egyptian life revolved around the Nile. Water meant food, farming, and transportation. It also meant constant risk of drowning. Knowing water could become a practical skill. Across the Mediterranean, swimming gained social value. Greeks connected swimming with physical education. Romans also trained around rivers and baths. Soldiers often had practical reasons to swim. Now, swimming was more than desperate survival. It could be deliberately practiced and taught, and humans began refining different movements. Not every swimmer needed the same stroke. Hunters needed quiet, controlled river crossings. Fishers needed diving and breath control. Soldiers needed endurance while carrying equipment. Children needed simple ways to stay afloat. Different needs produced different swimming techniques. There was probably no single first stroke. Swimming was likely rediscovered countless times. Push water backward. Your body moves forward. No ancient physicist was required to understand. The water itself provided immediate feedback. Bad movements exhausted you or sank you. Better movements kept your mouth above water. Those movements were copied and improved. Eventually, survival became sport and competition. Modern pools made conditions predictable and measurable. Coaches analyzed breathing, drag, and efficiency. Today, elite swimmers use extraordinary technology, but the original problem has never changed. Do not sink. Move forward. Breathe. Strip away the goggles and lane ropes. You return to the prehistoric river. A human enters water beyond standing depth. They push, kick, and reach the surface. Maybe it happened thousands of separate times. Maybe children discovered it before adults. Maybe necessity forced the first real crossing. We will never find the first stroke, because the invention existed inside moving bodies. But that may be swimming's greatest story. Humans turned panic into controlled movement. They turned a barrier into a pathway, and water became another world to explore. So who invented swimming? Everyone and no one. It was built from countless survival experiments. One breath, one kick, one lesson, passed from human to human for generations, until something frightening became something teachable, and eventually something humans could master. The first swimmer left no name behind. No monument marks the place it happened. Only a simple idea survived the water. Move your body and the water moves you. That idea changed what humans could cross. It expanded where humans could hunt and travel, and perhaps where entire populations could survive. So next time you enter deep water, remember how ancient that movement may be. Behind every stroke is an old problem, a soft human body facing a hard world, and refusing to let the water win.